Hey everybody, Jimmy Rance here. Thought I'd do a night video instead of doing one of these day ones. I want to talk about a couple things, and they're both kind of weird. One's kind of creepy to me, and the other's just kind of strange. It's something that I've been wondering about for probably, I don't know, 40 years maybe. Maybe you have too. I don't know. Today, I wanted to clean out the drain in my bathtub and in my sink in my bathroom because it's been slow to drain. So I have this thing, I don't know what you call it. You can stick it down in the drain, you can pull it out and it'll, bring out hair or whatever. Well, today, I know this, I guess this is not, thrilling for you, but it was kind of weird to me, is that in the bathtub, I stuck that thing down in the drain and went real deep with it. And I tried to pull, and there was a lot of resistance, but I finally pulled it up. And when I pulled it up, there was this big wad of hair in there. And the hair was real long, real long. So that was Bobby's hair I was pulling out of there. And if you're new to my channel, Bobby is my wife, and she passed away 6 months ago. So pulling out her hair, touching her hair, and it was her hair, because mine was nowhere near that long. It was the right color, it was everything. It was like, in some strange way, well, it was touching a physical part of my wife that's no longer here, but yet her physical hair was here. And I thought that was, I don't know. Did I get sad? No. Did I think about it? Yeah, I did. It kind of plays with your head just a little bit. A long time ago, my dad was an engineer, and he lived in Florida on the Space Coast, and he worked at the Cape, like I said, as an engineer, and he worked with that Apollo space program, like Apollo 11, rocket that took off and went to the moon, so they say. Well, and I'm sure you know too, there's a lot of talk about, did we really go to the moon? And I always wondered about that. I always wanted to believe that we went to the moon. I mean, my dad worked tirelessly. He loved his job, and he loved the space program. And he worked very hard. So I'd like to think that they went to the moon. But then as years went by and all these skeptics came around, they started presenting all kind of evidence where we didn't go to the moon. I mean, there's a film you can watch on YouTube, I think it's called A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Moon. And I've watched it several times. It's very interesting and it's very convincing. And if you watch it, you would probably think, we didn't go to the moon. Another set of lies that was given to us, that back then, when you think about the equipment that we had, especially computers, what did we have? We didn't have like gigabytes and all that kind of stuff. We had like megabytes, 30 and 40 megabyte computers, but yet we went to the moon using that old equipment. And there were some people thinking that what we did back then is we loaded software in these computers, and we sent this software to different satellites. So whenever Russia and China were monitoring us going to the moon, because you believe me, they would be watching, as if they weren't really watching our Apollo 11 on its way to the moon. What they were watching was relayed software from satellite to satellite. And so we were sending Russia and whoever else was monitoring this, we were sending them data just being bounced from satellite to satellite so they could track the software. That was one thing. I don't know. But today, now look, I wrote some stuff down because I can't possibly remember this stuff, so I wrote a few things down. And so I wanted to do a little investigating on my own. And I said something, I was thinking to myself, like, out of all of the countries that have supposedly sent orbiters around the moon, that why didn't they send some orbiters to go over like the Sea of Tranquility, where that was the place where they landed, the first Apollo 11, Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong and Michael Collins, I believe that was the three that went the first time. So when they were there, they couldn't bring all that stuff back, the rovers and all that stuff that they had. They couldn't bring it back because it was too heavy. So they couldn't, bottom line, they couldn't bring it back. So if that's the case, all that stuff's still sitting on the moon, right? Right. Well, what I found out today, this is where I got to go to these notes, that in the year 2021, in April the 2nd and April the 5th, India, which is very technical, a nuclear nation, very advanced. Well, they sent up some kind of, I don't know what you call it, some rocket or something that orbited the moon. And it was called, and I'm going to butcher the name, so I'm sorry about that, Chandrayaan-2. And on April the 2nd, they took images, crystal clear images, on April 2nd and April the 5th. On April the 2nd, they were taking images of Apollo 11, the first rocket that went up. And then on April the 5th, they were taking pictures of Apollo 12, the one that was right behind it next. And they say these pictures are crystal clear. You can go online, you can see them yourself. They have had countries all over the world investigate supposedly these pictures. I'm talking about countries that would love to prove that the United States didn't go to the moon. But according to these pictures, well, and I saw the pictures, and you can see some of the stuff. But then there was another country, which was South Korea, another very advanced country. They sent up this rocket, an orbiter, to go around the moon, and it was called the Deniers. I'm sorry, I'm probably butchering that, Danuri. And they saw hardware also on the moon. Now, it wasn't as clear, they say, as the Chandrayaan from India, but you could still see this stuff. And they saw on March the 30th, this thing going around on March the 30th, they were capturing images from this Apollo 11. And on May the 10th, as this thing was still going around, they photographed Apollo 17. And they had really good pictures. Now, it's my understanding that the Chandrayaan-2, the one from India, was so crystal clear that not only did they have wonderful, clear, crystal clear images of like this rover, this thing that they rode around on, not only could they see that, but they could actually see footprints of the astronauts walking around. And they really got to see, which one was it? I forgot. But I forgot which order of things that they took pictures of. There was one Apollo mission where the astronauts walked farther than they did, say, like on the Apollo, the first one, the Apollo 11. And so that's why they could capture these footprints. And I keep thinking, like, man, are these doctored pictures? Is this for real? But again, there are countries all over that have examined, I mean, a lot of people, a lot of people, a lot of scientists, a lot of professional people in the photography business, whatever, and they said that these pictures are actually true. So if that's true, then I guess we made it to the moon. It's just I'm wondering why today, like if we went to the moon back then, way back 50 years ago, why did they send a rocket up today with a few astronauts on it and they're just going to circle the moon too? I don't know what they're going to do, but why? Why are we going back to the moon? Well, I don't know. I haven't been keeping up with this stuff, but somebody sent me, and thank you, you know who you are, a link where I could go watch the rocket take off today, which I did. It was very interesting. It's kind of exciting, really. This was a badass rocket, man. I mean, it was badass. My dad would have been proud to see this thing launch. He really would. So anyway, I guess I'm just going to pose a question to you guys. Do you think, you know, don't try to use don't be like anti-government, anti-everything. You know, it's real easy to do that. Everything the government does is wrong. Not really. Come on. The United States has done some great things too. And yeah, they bullshitted us too, but we've done some great miraculous things. That's why we're one of the leaders of the world in almost everything, especially technology. What do you think? Do you think we went to the moon or not? Was it a fake? Or is all of this new imagery that we're getting from South Korea back in 2021 and 2023, that all of these people have examined all this stuff and they say, yeah, this is for real. They even say that on the moon there's some kind of reflectors that they put on the moon. And they hear from Earth, they can bounce a signal off and boom, it'll reflect back to Earth. So if nobody's been on the moon, then how can we send a reflector signal back there and back? I don't know. I don't get it. It's just something to talk about, something to think about. So there you go, guys. What do you think? Did we go to the moon or not? Did they bullshit us or did they really go? I hope they went. I'm Jimmy Rance.